Barbara Casey.
Here.
Counselor Vincent Howell.
Here.
Counselor David A. Ulibarri Jr.
Here.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Do we have a quorum?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Counselor Romero, will you do the pledge? Recommendation of one amendment to agenda item number 3, adoption of the City of Las Vegas Municipal Metropolitan Redevelopment Plan. Grant agreement and certificate of grantee. So we would be adding the resolution number to the agenda 18-22. Madam Mayor, members of the council.
Second.
Roll call.
Counselor Howell.
Yes.
Counselor Ulibarri Jr. Counselor Romero.
Counselor Casey. Approval of the agenda as amended.
Second.
Roll call.
Counselor Romero.
Yes.
Counselor Casey.
Yes.
Counselor Howell.
Yes.
Counselor Ulibarri Jr.
We've completed many from 8 years ago, and we need this document approved, and I'm asking you to consider it. I'm here as a voter, and also haven't heard about any community-wide meeting to address the issue. Going to the state, state general exactly what's going on or what will be changed for the future.
regarding the problems in the audit, the budgetary problems and the personnel problems. And again, along those lines, I saw last Friday when I had been away, a Friday newspaper that said there was a really important meeting, and it was that same Friday, last Friday, which seemed to be about personnel matters, appointments, and so forth. And again, it looked like it was called at the last moment. Whether it could be done at a regular council meeting or
That concludes our public input. Madam Mayor, members of the council.
Madam Mayor,
I'm sorry.
can I make a comment? I know that, everybody probably read the newspaper that the council members went here on Friday. I would like to state that can you confirm somebody?
Emergency or an impossibility. I have been here for almost, 8 years, and I had missed one meeting because there was a grave emergency in my family. So, let's continue.
Next item on the agenda, Madam Mayor, members of the council, are the discussion items. The first one is the purchase of a Caterpillar 420, et cetera, backhoe. It's a big one. We have Maria Gilberry and staff.
Mayor, councilors, Madam Manager, I have with me Jude Herrera and Dave Marquez from the Gas Division. We're here today to request approval for the Gas Division to acquire a backhoe. They have two backhoes. The oldest backhoe is 28 years old. It is still operational, but they do spend a lot of time on maintenance with this piece of equipment. And so we do look at replacing our equipment on a regular basis, and this is one piece of equipment that we did budget for, and that we do need to replace. It is still operational, so we are going to make it available to the wastewater division, who is short on funds and it's beneficial to them if they can acquire an older backhoe. And in this case, that's what we're going to do. This backhoe is a and then we're left with either having to borrow one from another division and limit their work. We're all using backwards at the same time. We've got water that's excavating at the same time that wastewater is making the repair, at the same time that gas is making the repair, so they can't share the same backhoe. Allow and will utilize different equipment from different departments. And so they do change when when they can do it and when the need is there. They will borrow from each other as well as from public facilities as well. But there comes a time when we need to. This is a 28-year piece of the request for the PO, and the piece of equipment is waiting for us. I believe they have it in the hold.
That we requested.
And it's being purchased under the state contract, state purchasing contract as well.
And that's where the funding is coming from?
No, the SPD contract, it would be an SPD contract where we wouldn't have to go out for any further bids and or proposals.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions?
Just one more, and I guess this one would be basically, for further budget. Is there a plan, or has there been a plan to where they regularly schedule, replacement of equipment?
That's what we're trying to get to, Madam Mayor, members of the council, Councilor Romero. That's what we're trying to get all the departments to work on, is the rotation of the equipment. Any equipment as far as what the utility needs are and or what vehicles we need. We're trying to put them on a rotation so that we can in fact have the proper equipment. I know some of our vehicles still need to be replaced. I know Public Facilities also works on theirs. They're working on, I believe it's a certain vehicle that they're purchasing. Cherry picker, is that, what is it?
Bucket truck.
Bucket truck, whatever that is. Anyway, they're working on one as well. They have one already, and they're working on purchasing one that is more compatible to what their needs are. And
Madam-
so we keep doing, well,
I was going to say, that was one of the taskings to my staff this year, was to put every piece of equipment and every vehicle on a rotation schedule based on the life of the vehicle, so we could plan for it. We may not request it in the year that's in the calendar that each one of the divisions has created, but it gives us a general idea of when we'll need to be planning for it, so that we're not replacing multiple pieces of heavy equipment in the same year. We will be able to spread it out throughout 10 or 15-year lifespans.
but those are good questions, because I think we need to make sure that the equipment is needed and that some other divisions such as wastewater can utilize the used piece of equipment, but I do believe that those are good things for mayor and council for us to address to mayor and council.
And one last thing is, I know, I'm new and just real quick, the line item that is being paid out of, I know I have, what is that specifically?
That would be the 620, which is the gas fund, 8004 vehicle, equipment.
627, it's coming out of the construction 627, the 8007.
What was that?
It would be the heavy
Out
equipment
of construction.
out of construction, and that's the 627, which is off of it's actually funded from the gas department. Yes.
Any other questions? Any other questions? What is the pleasure of the board?
Consent.
Okay.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. Thank you. The next item is item number 2, publication of ordinance number 18-03, amending ordinance number 18-01. We have Ms. Maria Gilberry.
Ms. Gilbert.
Madam Mayor, councilors, Madam Manager, I'm here with Evan Kist. He's our representative from RBC. We're here to request publication of ordinance number 1803, which is an ordinance that will be amending 1801, which is the ordinance so that we can proceed with the loan agreement with NMFA for the storage. Adding a section that would allow for delegation authority, as well as
The money that we're going to pay them is the municipal capital outlay going to be so, and the definitions on the actual document aren't very clear, so just for my own edification, distributing state agency, is that DSA?
Yes.
And then on page 4, the third from the last paragraph, it has a date there. It says June 6, 2018 date. I wanted to know why.
that was,
June 6, 2018.
that was to be changed to June 16th, or May 16th, sorry. Or June, is it June 16th? After the 30
Is it
days?
after the publication?
Because it's after publication.
Yeah.
Okay. I recall seeing that, Counselor, and I believe we actually had the bond counsel change it. We might not have got that to you in time. We did notice that.
Okay, and then there were 2 references to county manager. On page 5, the second paragraph, the second line says governing body, county manager. Then page 9, section 11, first paragraph, the third line from the bottom of the paragraph also refers to county manager. Why?
Counselor, could you tell me the title of the,
Let me see.
page 5. Is this
It's a
type 2
second.
certificate?
It's actually the second paragraph on page 5, body and/or county manager.
So it's chair of the governing body and the county manager. It did come from our bond counsel, who I believe has these in a little bit of a generic format for all potential
Well, I think that
situations.
should be corrected because we're
Yes,
not
we
the
can do
county,
that,
we're the city.
absolutely.
Well, this is also part of that's part of the amending and restating of this ordinance. That's the delegation authority, which delegates authority from the council to the county manager or someone.
Not to the county manager, it would be to the city manager. Yeah.
To city manager. That's correct. That's city manager.
And it has the same reference on page 9. Section 11, the first paragraph. First
Yes,
line from the bottom of that paragraph.
we will get those, the city manager, it'll be corrected to city manager as well as the date, make sure the date is correct.
And so I guess I'm still kind of questioning what actually have you added? None of the language that in the copies that we got has been marked so that we can't find it easily. And so I read the whole thing, all the ordinances like 3 times, and I'm still not catching whatever it was that was added in there. You said you added language.
So-
I would like to know specifically what language was added and why it was added.
And Evan can speak to the why, but I know the language that was added was delegating authority to make certain determinations concerning the terms of the loan agreement and the intercept agreement.
And what page is that
That's on page 1, and it's towards the end of the first paragraph, delegating.
Page 1 of the 18-3.
18-03, yes. And it's,
The bold type. Or the capitalized font,
it's a capitalized font.
where everything's all capitalized. Before the whereas, where it defines things.
The city. In particular, things that were stricken from, I believe, the ordinance that was adopted on March 21st were specifically no longer is a loan agreement reserve account needed. That was found at the bottom of page 4, at least of that document, along with the loan agreement reserve requirement. That was also stricken. Not a part of, or not necessary for this financing to move forward.
Back and forth.
And they may not have been redlined or something like that. Right? There
They're
was
not at all marked,
Yeah.
and that was why I have questions. Also, the loan agreement reserve requirement, 18-01 ordinance, was deleted from the 18-03.
Yes.
Why?
because in discussion,
Go ahead.
discussions with the New Mexico Finance Authority, given the amount of coverage that will be generated from the municipal GRT, the New Mexico Finance Authority does not deem it to be necessary to have a debt service reserve fund, and that just adds additional financing costs to the city's borrowing. So that's actually a very positive thing. They, believe in the revenue stream that will be backing this payback of the financing. So that's why it was deleted.
Also, on the ordinances 18-01 that we approved in March, we authorized loans of $4,570,000 that because the reserve requirements were deleted?
I believe that was addressed. Any other questions?
That's all I have, Madam Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? What is the pleasure of the board?
I just get clarification on the 4.2 we're getting on the GRT. That's the tax that was passed, what, 2012-13?
Incorporated into the 646, the Capital Improvement Fund, and we collect approximately 600,000 annually. The payments are
Approximately 583,000, approximately. The unused
And-
revenues will vary between 100,000 and 200,000, depending on how far down we are on it.
And do we have a
to the 11 years, that would be, the city would be in a better position.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Okay, any other questions? What is the pleasure of the board? Lisa?
So,
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is the adoption of the City of Las Vegas, New Mexico Metropolitan Redevelopment Plan, Downtown Action Plan, authorizing Resolution 18-22, grant agreement and certificate of grantee. We have Mr. Robert Archuleta and company.
Good evening.
Thank you, City Manager. Good evening, Madam Mayor, members of the council. Robert Archuleta representing I also have with me Liza Miller from Soloca from they've been our consulting firm on this project for the adoption of the plans. Before I begin, I'd like to kind of just go through my notes and explain all the documents before you, and then we'll stand for questions or comments. So you have before you 4 documents ready for approval from the governing body for the adoption of the City of Las Vegas Metropolitan Redevelopment Plan, which is otherwise known as the Downtown Action Plan. You will have in front of you the final draft master plan, and then you will also have the authorizing resolution, grant agreement, certificate of grantee, which are documents required by the New Mexico Finance Authority. City of Las Vegas collaborated with Municipio de Las Vegas, and the New Mexico Historic Preservation and the Department of Transportation, and each of them has completed their review of the plan, which had to be vetted by them as well. So the plan is now ready for discussion to be adopted. The first, again, the first is the final copy of the plan itself. It's not in a bound copy because we have to enter the resolution in it and then go to final print. The second is the planning grant agreement between NMFA and the City of Las Vegas, which outlines the terms for the City of Las Vegas and NMFA to enter into the agreement to reimburse the city $50,000 for the grant award. So what we did is we paid architectural research consultants to do the work, and then now we need to request our reimbursement from NMFA. The third is the certificate of grantee, which is a document which outlines the terms for the governing body to Finally, just to reiterate from, I believe it was our February meeting, the city did issue an RFP for this project. It was between this project This plan is an update from the 2010 Downtown Action Plan that was adopted several years ago by the city council. So at this time, I'll stop for comments.
So the area covers the plaza area, Bridge Street, and then it jogs down to Douglas, and then further on Douglas. It does go further south. It goes down to the roundhouse.
So that would be
community members were saying that north of here, when our people come into our city, it's very dark. And now that Love's is going to be there, that little spot there is going to be brightened up. So that's why I was asking if there's any plans in this action plan here to put lights down there.
I believe, Councilor Howell, we had this.
So this is different from the 20-year action plan?
Yes, I believe there is. The Great Rocks project was indicated as a potential project. So we're
State, New Mexico State?
The Historic Preservation and the Department of Transportation and the New Mexico Finance Authority were all required to get the documents before they submitted the final draft.
And we heard Ms. Collins give the blessing to the bill. Okay, that's all. Thank you. I just, thank you for, for this time. It was, detailed, I think, and I like how you're going down to the rail, the rail yard and eventually the roundhouse. Is that like a second phase or it just depends?
It's all contingent upon funding and ownership of the roundhouse. I believe it's owned by UNSF, possibly. In order to do work on it, we probably have to apply to go to architecture design, whatever you want it to do.
And the reason why I bring that up is, that at one point, I mentioned that would be a good, farmer's market / rail yard area, the way Sanford, having been since 1992, Papalapino,
Mr. Chiles, what is the shelf life of this?
This part, I would say approximately about 57.
And what is the status of the land covenant?
The vehicle, I believe. Into our master plan, or
How are you going to work? Because there's going to be certain dynamics.
the DOT.
You don't have a plan? You better talk to him. Okay, thank you very much. What is the pleasure of the council?
Consent.
That's it? That's it? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, if I can,
Yes.
a comment on that. I know, I sat here for meetings previously, and I think there's might be a disconnect with the highway department. I don't know, they're not in contact with the city or what it is, but, could somebody make that effort? I know,
We have a really good, Councilor Romero, a really good relationship with them. And I think what's happening is that we're trying to reestablish that relationship. So hopefully that'll happen shortly.
And what I guess what I'm saying is,
I
I'd
get
like
you.
to offer myself,
Totally.
I worked with them, through the
Yes.
schools,
Thank you.
and if,
Okay.
if it's okay, I'm available.
Absolutely.
The only
Thank you.
problem with that is that if you're actively involved and you come to the council, that might potentially
Just an introduction,
remove you from voting. That was my concern. But aside, because you might provide testimony, so that's the concern. But other than that, I think that's awesome. We'll look into that, definitely. Okay, we have need for
Thank you.
executive?
Yes, Madam Mayor, we do. We have need for executive session under item B, matter subject to the attorney-client privilege pertaining to threatened or pending litigation.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, let's reconvene into executive. In your office?
Madam Mayor?
Any motion?
Can we add item 1 also?
Personnel
Item A,
matters?
Yes.
We can add one personnel matter consistent with state statute under the section of 1015. If you have more than one personnel matter, then we cannot discuss it. Okay? So, okay. Let's make a motion to go into executive session. Any motion?
Madam Mayor, clarification on that is,
Yeah, okay.
I mean, what,
Okay, wait, when you go into executive session,
I didn't know.
okay, you have one personnel matter that you can discuss in executive session. We are limited to that under the section and the Open Meetings Act. Also, under the matter subject to attorney-client privilege, we can only discuss those matters that are pertinent at this point in time. In addition to the matters pertaining to discussion of sale and acquisition of property, those are the only 3 items that can be discussed in executive session. And when you say one personnel matter, a personnel matter, it must be only one personnel matter. I've got clarification from the state attorney, just to be certain.
1% is what you mean?
One personnel
Okay.
matter, that's
Okay.
exactly what I was advised.
Okay, then I'll just go with B.
Okay,
Madam Mayor?
yes,
Because it does say personnel matters.
personnel matters, but it's personnel, only one matter can be discussed. And maybe we should amend that as well.
And you're saying that?
But matters could mean personnel matters regarding one situation, but many matters under that situation. But it can only be one situation. That is clarified. Okay, we need a motion. Okay, if we don't have a motion to discuss, well, nobody's going to make a motion to go into executive session. We need a motion to go into executive. If not, then we adjourn. Okay, I need a motion to adjourn then. Okay, let's take you to the midnight.
Madam Mayor, I think, I'm speaking on behalf of myself, because I think, I know you have personnel that you need to appoint, but I think, as a council member, it'd be good to, to see where you're at, what your plans are.
You will get a copy of my plan shortly. That is not even a concern. I will provide you with everything that you're going to need. So, that's not a personnel matter. So, do we want to go
On
into
that
executive?
issue, Madam Mayor,
Mhm.
when do you plan to have a reorganizational meeting?
I will discuss that hopefully after I discuss, hopefully sometime next month, I'm hoping. We can defer plans
So
to the
we
4:30.
won't be following the charter?
Actually, we didn't meet the charter law. I checked with the attorneys as well. If we didn't meet the charter deadlines, essentially, we have to wait and defer appointments till next month.
Madam Mayor, another thing I'd like to add to I know it's with your blessing, unfortunately, but the City of Las Vegas governing body rollover procedure,
Mhm,
I think that's something that we need to address, and I know that's what you're following.
mhm.
And I think there's some amendments that need to be made, just, in reviewing it, I think, some of these things in here are outdated.
Yes,
And-
okay, let me tell you a little bit about the process. Years ago, in about 2012, I believe, we hired someone to do the entire codification of the city ordinances and things of this nature to enter them. Within that process, our city clerk was supposed to work on certain amendments and bring to us. That has not happened. So that's essentially where we're at. That's something that needs to be addressed.
And just the way it's written, I think.
Yes, I agree with you. There's a lot of vagueness between the actual city charter and the actual state statute. And if you look at that, it's really difficult because charter says this is where home rule, this is where we're at, but then the state statute supersedes. So usually that's what we do, correct? When the charter is vague, then we go to state statute. But in state statute, if you actually try to challenge that, not always will state statute supersede or uphold with the charter. So there, a lot has
And
to
there's
be
a
done.
lot of correlation that needs to be
Yeah.
done. And I guess what I'm asking is, I guess I'm putting you on the spot.
That's
Would you-
okay.
Would you please put that, that's something that we need to address.
Well, that's something that the legislative body it'll have to come to the legislative body for approval and amended changes and approval, and we will be working on that this year. This is something that should have happened a long time ago. Councilor Casey.
Just speaking from experience, when I was superintendent at a certain school district, the board wanted me to rewrite all of the board policies. And this is what I'm hearing you would like our city clerk to do. That's not her job. Her job is to follow the policies that are there, not to write them.
Well, no,
And so
actually,
I
it's the
think if we
legislative
could-
body's duty to actually adopt and amend those, okay? But we've got to move through certain
I would
processes.
suggest that if we're going to do a revision of the charter, a revision of the governing body rules and procedures, then we should hire someone to do that, someone who has a legal background, who can look at things and
Actually,
work things
we've
out.
got a charter committee, and what we're doing is, once we get the attorney on board, then they will be with the charter committee reviewing everything. That's
Will
already
they
in place.
also be reviewing the rules, the governing rules?
They're going to have to, but essentially that is the duty and responsibility of the legislative body. Exactly.
Well,
That's something we can set up a committee for, if need be.
I think perhaps also I would like to suggest that you review what has happened so far, and I don't even know who's on the charter committee, because I can't remember. But I did receive several phone calls from a couple of the members on the charter committee requesting information because they didn't have a clue as to what they were supposed to be doing. And so if you're going to have, I welcome community people working on volunteering for committees and, helping the city out as much as they can. But they have to have a really strong understanding of what their duties are when they're on a committee of that nature. Because it's an important committee. They really need to know what their duties are, what they're supposed to be doing. And if they don't understand that, then all their work is going to be for naught.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions? Did you want to go into executive, or did you want to adjourn?
Is the matter urgent?
I'll defer that over to the attorney.
I think we need to discuss, Judge Aragon has ordered mediation at the end of the month, and we need to discuss this case, Southwest Bank versus Antonio Ortega.
Madam Mayor, I move that we go into executive session for the purpose of discussing matters subject to the attorney-client privilege pertaining to threatened or pending litigation in which the city of Las Vegas is or may become a participant, as permitted in Section 10-15-1, H7 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act, USA 1978.
Do you have a second?
Madam Mayor, if I may I ask the maker of the motion to amend to also include H2, personnel matter? I know it's just one, but I think there's an important position there.
Okay. I move that we go into executive session for item B, which I have already mentioned, and item A, personnel matters as permitted by Section 10-15-1, H2 of the New Mexico Open Meetings Act of 1978.
With that amendment, I move for a second.
Roll call?
Counselor Howell?
Yes.
Counselor Casey?
Yes.
Counselor Olivares Jr.?
Yes.
Counselor Romero?
Yes.
I have a motion by Counselor Casey, a second by Counselor Romero. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Motion carries.
Okay, let's go into executive.